Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of AngularAir. I am your host, Justin, and on today's episode, we've got part 2 of our Angular and Electron learning experience. Looking forward to picking up where we left off on the previous episode and learning more about it. So let's say hi to our panelists, and then we'll say hi to our return guests, and we'll get into the content. Joining us today, we've got Bonnie. Bonnie, what's going on?
Oh, la nada. Happy Friday. Good to see everybody.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday evening to you, day to some of us. So
we made it through another week.
Yeah.
Almost through a whole year.
Almost. One more to go, right? No, two more. I can't. I don't know. Lost track.
We're almost there.
Mike, what's going on? Mike, how's it going?
I'm just jealous now. I want it to be the end of my work week, but I still have my afternoon to work.
I do too. So there's
this is a welcome break in the middle of the day, though. I'm happy.
Nice. Alyssa's with us. Alyssa, how's it going?
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hello.
Hey, you have some things coming out the top of your head there. They're sparkly.
I've had more festiveness this morning than you all will have this year, okay? I was on a Thankmas fundraiser stream for almost 2 hours, had a bunch of guests. We raised over $3,600 for the Red Nose Foundation. Right after that, I had a holiday Christmas party with the DevRel team, and now I'm here. So I've got outfits, I got antlers, I got whatever you need, Justin. I'm bringing it.
Oh,
nice. Right. Oh yeah, Mike's got a gingerbread cookie shirt. Nice, I like it. All right, and our return guest today, Aristeidis, is with us. Hey, how's it going?
Hello all, I'm fine, thanks very much. I'm very glad to be returning here to the show for another part. And I would like to tell that SMA has everything, but she doesn't have an electron.
Cool.
She doesn't have a what?
So,
an electron?
She may has everything that she mentioned, but she doesn't have an electron.
All right, fine.
It was a joke about Angular and electron.
Fine. One thing's missing, but I'm almost there, right? You'll bring it.
Yeah, that's why we're here at this show, is because then you can get it there. And yeah, perfect.
Aristeidis, I feel like you're a little more famous than you were last time we saw you. What's up with that? Did you change your hair? What happened?
Yes, I changed my hair. I was in quarantine all these days, but hopefully I get my head shaved, so I'm really different. But except of that, I am now officially a good developer expert for Angular.
Woo! Yay! Excited about that.
That's very well deserved.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Congratulations. We knew you before you were famous.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, we did know him before he was famous, and we have proof of it. If we go watch the other episode, right? It's right before that. Yeah, cool. All right, you want to? You got some slides? You got some stuff? You want to dive into it?
Yeah, I will share my screen right now.
Can we do a quick wrap up from part 1, just in case anybody watching part 2 without part 1? Which I don't know why you would do that, but if you so choose.
Just give us a quick recap, Aris.
Yeah, I have included a couple of slides from the previous time. So for everybody that didn't watch the previous video, you get the basic idea. So I think it will be okay.
Everybody's smarter than me. Cool, I love it.
Nice. All right, let me know when you're ready, and I'll share it to the stream.
I'm ready.
All right, let's see. There we go. And we see it.
Okay. So my previous talk was about Angular and Electron, and the title was more than just desktop application, to showcase that if you use Angular and Electron, if you use Electron to create a desktop application with Angular, it's more than a single desktop application. It has many more functionalities that we can use. So some things about me that that maybe you don't know. I work as a front-end web developer at a company called Plexert here in Greece. I'm from Athens, the capital of Greece. And as I said before, I'm officially a Google developer expert for the Angular. I'm a co-organizer also of the Angular Athens meetup. And sometimes I work contractually as a senior Angular instructor at a private educational institute here in Greece called CodeHub. When I'm not coding, I'm writing. So I am an author, a certified author for Pact. I have already written my first book about Angular, which is this one, Learning Angular 3rd edition. And now I'm in the process of writing my second book, which will be about, of course, Angular. I have some great news to share with you today about my first book. It is available for purchasing the electronic format with $5 only as a price from the PactPub website. So if you go to the PactPub to pactpub.com, you can get my book, the electronic version, for only $5. It will be in this price until next month, I believe so. And when I'm not writing, I am a big fan of the Assassin's Creed game. I have a very large collection of all the games, the books, and T-shirts and
What's
stuff
your
like
preferred
that.
console? What's
For
your
what?
preferred console? Are you on Xbox or PlayStation or neither?
PlayStation, yeah. I prefer PlayStation. Actually, Xbox is not so much popular here in Greece, so we usually use PlayStation. So let's dive into my presentation. It is about Electron and Angular. Electron.js is an NPM package, and we install it using the npm install command. We install it in the development dependencies of our package because we use Electron to build our application. We don't use it runtime. And it is a JavaScript framework that allows you to create cross-platform desktop applications with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And you can combine it with any JavaScript framework out there that you know to create some beautiful desktop apps. So the Electron architecture consists of two processes. The main process, which is responsible for managing the resources of your computer, the native resources, and it has some Node.js API methods that it can expose to a client, and the render process, which is only responsible for the browser. So if you take the main and the render process, two processes, you can create one application. As I told you, you can combine it with every framework. But in our case, we combine it with Angular. So we have Angular managing the user interface and the HTML representation of our application. And we have Electron as our backend to manage the native resources of our computer, for example, the file system. Let's see how we can combine these two together. Now I'm going to switch to the coding, to Visual Studio Code, to show you some code. Okay, here I have created an Angular CLI application. It is a standard Angular CLI application that I created with NGNew. Nothing fancy here. So if I run it with ngserve, but I'm a lazy developer, so I don't like to use a terminal. So I have a very useful extension called NX Console, which is a wrapper over the Angular CLI, and you can use to accomplish most of the tasks on the Angular CLI. For example, the serve task. And you can pass also some additional options, and you can run it. Okay, first time takes a bit more to compile. I'm using Angular 11 in this demo and Electron 11. So it is this time that the two frameworks have the same version. I wish I had also Windows 11, but I don't.
All right, we're just gonna have to cancel this demo at that point then.
Okay, I will not say again, Mike, the forbidden word Windows. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. I'm working off of Mac OS 11, so we got you covered on the OS.
Okay, thanks very much. Try the application. Let me know if there's any problem. So if I go to the local host, I can see my application. It looks like an Angular CLI application because it is. I have only modified some bits of the application. For example, I have created here a list of pirates. Pirates is my favorite thing because of Angular Assassin's black flag, which is right behind me. So I use an ng4 directive to display a list of pirate names. I can click on a pirate and the alert box appears and it says that you selected this pirate, for example, the Dread Pirate Jules. So let's see how we can take this Angular application and convert it to a desktop one using Electron. At this point, I should do my magic, but I have forgotten my cup and my stick in the other house. I'm so sorry about that.
Do you have a magic hat too, or just the cup and the stick?
No, I don't have a magic hat. I'm not a usual magician.
Okay, gotcha.
but I have a rabbit. It's in the living room right now. Yeah.
I mean, that's the rabbit is like 90% of it, so I think you're covered.
Okay. Yeah. It is called Hope. So if I go here in the npm scripts, this is a built-in feature of VS Code that allows you to run the scripts of your package.json. So if there is a script here that says start Electron. Above this script is the normal start, which calls ng-serve. So we have start and start Electron. And as you can see, we have also built and build Electron. So we have a pair of its environment that we want to render. So if I click on start Electron, it starts the process. Actually, I will show to you later, it builds the Angular application and the Electron part. I will show you how to do this, and creates a desktop application. So when you run this, you have two builds that run one after the other. For the Angular build, we use the Angular CLI. For the Electron build, we use Webpack because we write Electron code, in my case, with TypeScript. Okay, it finished. Now, if I go to run and press start Electron, this is a debug configuration I have created. And if I do my magic again, I hope the god of the demo will listen to me. Okay, yeah. And here it is. Here is our application rendered inside a desktop window. Now, if I click...
We never doubted you.
Thanks very much, Bonnie.
Does it still work?
So,
does it still click with the happenings?
What?
The chat people are saying that you're
You
missing
are
some pirates.
but
Earth.
we love you, but you are missing pirates. That's all.
Really? Okay, I will check it out later. So if I click on the pirate name, a desktop window appears now that says to me that you have selected a pirate. So you see that the interaction now is all the interaction is now desktop based. It is not web based. Okay, let's see first how we convert our Angular application into Electron. If I go to the code, into the source, into the app, let's see the first Angular code. We have the main component, app component, that calls a function getPirates in the ng-on init. Now, this getPirates calls a pirate service that we have created, which it has two methods, the getPirates and the selectPirate. The getPirates loads, uses the built-in HTTP client of Angular to load a JSON file from the assets folder. So if I go to assets, you will see the name of pirates. If there is anyone missing, write it on the comments and I will add it for you.
Nice.
If we go also, so as we all know, the HTTP client returns observance. So I have used the toPromise operator, which is deprecated, by the way, in the latest version of ArcGIS. So I use this ArcGIS operator to convert it to a promise. You will see later why. And the selectPirate method that alerts me about the selected pirate. So if I go back to the component, you can see that the getPirates method that I call from the component, I can use the async await syntax, which is more convenient when you work with promise-based code. The selectPirate method of the component is called when you click. Justin, did you want to ask something?
I was just going to ask. So at this point, all we're looking at is just Angular, typical Angular code, right? Nothing specific for Electron.
Yeah,
right?
Nothing specific.
Yep.
Yeah. So if I go to the template file of the component, you will see the ng4 directive that loops over the pirates, and on the click event we select the pirate. Now, in the same level inside the source, I have another folder which is called Electron. Electron has a main.ts file, which is the main file of an Electron application. It's like the main.ts of the Angular application, where we write Electron code inside. So if I want to create the desktop window that we saw before, I create a method create window. Now, this create window method uses the browser window class, and we pass some options, for example, the width and the height. So we use the load file method of the main window to load the HTML file that we want. In this case, the HTML file is the main HTML file of the Angular application. So we call the create window function only when our application is ready. And we know that it is ready when the app object, which is the global object of an Electron application, we call the when ready promise. And when the when ready resolves, then we can create the window. This is to ensure that our window will be created only when the global application object is ready. Okay, so we need only this code to create our Angular application and convert it to Electron, nothing more. This index.html file is the HTML file of the Angular. Okay, so let's see how we build them together. If I go to the package.json file and I go to the start Electron, you will see that I run concurrently two processes. The first one is the ng build with a custom configuration, which is called Electron. Let's go to see this configuration. If I go to the angular.json file and scroll to the Electron configuration, here you will see that the Electron configuration replaces an environment file with another one, which is called environment.electron. Let's go to this environment file. If we go to the environments, we can see that it has two properties: the production property, which is the standard property of an Angular application, and the desktop one. This property, the desktop one, is used to distinguish. It is used by our application, Angular application, to distinguish if we run in desktop mode or not, because this Angular application, as you saw, can be run in the web with ngserve and in the desktop with Electron. So this is the magic property. Let's see how this property correlates with all the other code. I will go back to the package.json, and after the configuration that we pass to the ng-build, here, we also set the delete output path to false. Why? Because when we build the Angular application and the Electron application, we put them in the same folder. So if you omit this property to set it to false, every time that you build your Angular application, the whole application, actually, it will overwrite the Electron code. So first, we run all this ng-build with watch. Then, this is the Angular build. Concurrently, we run the Electron build, where we use the Webpack, and we pass a configuration file called webpack.electron.dev. Let's see what the Webpack configuration contains. Here, you can see that we have three Webpack configurations. The first one is the base one. So we have some common tasks that we want for the dev and the prod, because we have also a production configuration Webpack. I will go back to this later. Let's see the dev. Now, the dev uses the base configuration, sets the mode to development, enables source map, and outputs the main.ts that you saw earlier inside the dist folder, inside the Angular Electron sample folder. Now, this folder, this path, is the path of the dist folder of an Angular application. So when the Angular application builds, we also put the Electron build inside the same folder, but with the different version. With a different file name. Why? Because if you leave it by default main.js, this will be overridden by the main.js of the Angular application. Are you still with me? I hope so.
Yeah. I do have a question on that.
I've just been following the conversation as to why or why not is Justin a pirate. So in the chat that was happening. I fully follow, because you don't want to conflict in your application. Your Angular application won't function if it has a different main.js, which is the glue that sticks everything together. So I dig it.
Mm-hmm. I like how you said when you're putting together the scripts that you have to make sure and put this flag as false. And I'm thinking, how long did it take you to figure that out the first time? It always looks so smooth when you know what you're doing, but when you're like trying to figure that stuff out, some of that stuff is like. And every time I say that in a tutorial, like, be sure you do this, it's because that's what I got stuck on.
Because you spent an hour figuring out.
Yeah.
Do you need to have those
Go on.
Do you need to have both of those in the same output bin or directory, or could we target the Electron build to be in a different directory so we don't can kind of avoid that scenario?
It is better to have them in the same directory, because at the end of the day, when we want to package the whole application into an executable for Windows or to a DMG for Mac OS, we will use a tool, and we want to say to that tool, look, go to this folder and take all the files that you will find and package them as a single package. Otherwise, you will have to make your own custom configuration, go in this folder, go in another folder, and put them together. In any case, if something that I present to you today does not make sense, I have added comments like this one inside the configuration, and I would like to thank Bonnie for this for her help. That she told me to to add as more comments as I can inside my code. So let's continue. Now, this is the development part. This is when we. This is what happens when we run start Electron. Okay. Now let's see how how our application understands what to do when how it understands our environment. For example, do we run on the desktop mode or do we run on the web? Because when we run on the web, we want to display an alert dialog. And when we run the desktop, we display a native desktop dialog. So let's see how all these correlate together, how all these are connected together. If we go to the app.module, now, before that, if you can see here, I have a pirate service and I have also a pirate local service. Now, this pirate local service is used only when I build for desktop mode. It is not included when I'm in the web mode. This service, it has the same signature as the pirate service here, totally the same. Instead, it does not use the HTTP client, but instead it uses the Electron service, which is an Angular service from a library called ngx-electron. This library is a wrapper library over the Electron JS framework. So, for example, the get pirates calls the IPC renderer. Hold on, I want to switch to my slides first before I show this to you. Let me see. I just wanted to tell you that, okay, on Electron, we said that we have the main and the render process. Now, how these processes communicate each other? Actually, each process has its own class. For example, the main process is indicated by the IPC main class in the JavaScript code, and the renderer with the IPC renderer class. So when we want to send data from Electron to Angular, for example, to display the list of pirate names, we use the IPC renderer, which is this yellow box. The yellow box is the IPC renderer, and the green one is the IPC main. So you use the method invoke, and you pass a channel name. In the other side, in the IPC main, in the main process, it adds an event listener using the handle method, which listens to the same channel name. Let's see how is this done. So we want to get data from the Electron. So the getPirates method uses the IPC renderer object, and it calls the invoke method and passes the channel name getPirates. Okay, let's see in the Electron code what is going on. If we go to the Electron in the main.ts, here you can see that we use the IPC main object, which is the main process, and we call the handle method. It accepts the same channel name. So when this method is called from the Angular side, it will read the pirates.json file in asynchronous mode using the fs.readFileSync method. Fs is a library of Node.js to interact with the file system, and it will return the data. Let me recap for this. First, when we start the Electron application, we display the list of pirates. Okay, so if we go to the pirate local service, the getPirates invokes the method getPirates in the renderer, and in the Electron side, the same method is handled by the handle method and returns the list of pirates. So this is how you can send data from Electron to Angular. So this is the first part that we saw, that you display a list of pirate names in the desktop application. Now let's go to the other way around. how we can send data from the Angular to Electron. We use in the IPC render object the method send, and we pass a channel name. Now, in the main process, which is the green box, we attach an event listener with the on method, and we pass the same name, the same channel name. So if we go to the code, and we go to the pirate local service, let's go to the select pirate method. Okay, this is the method that displays the native window that shows you which pirate was selected. So we use again the renderer object. Instead of invoke, we use the send sync method to send a message to the main process that together with some data. So the channel name is select pirate, and we send the name of the pirate that we selected. In the Electron side now, the main process uses the on method to attach an event listener that listens to the same channel name. The difference with the handle method is that now we have some data from the Angular side. So we take this data inside this callback, inside this arrow function. This property name contains the name of the pirate that we selected. So we use the dialog object, which is a native, built-in native object for displaying dialogues in the Electron side, and we call the show message box method, and we pass a message. Now, take notice that we also call the event.return value. If I don't call this, when I select the pirate on Angular, then my Angular thread will wait for this to return. So my application will be like frozen. I will not be able to do anything. So we use the return value of the event object to signal to Angular that, okay, I have shown the message and you are good to go. You're good to continue whatever you did. So this is the interaction side between Electron and Angular, how we send data from Electron to Angular and back. Now, I told before that I would like to show you how our application understands which environment we are currently operating. Is it desktop or is it web? Inside the app module, we use the providers array of the ng module decorator, and we define a provide object literal using factories. So we are actually saying that when our component requests the pirate service, you must use the pirate factory to choose either if you want to use the pirate service with the HTTP client or the pirate service with the Electron service, which is the desktop client. And we also pass these two dependencies. If we go now to the pirate factory, now you can see how it all connects together. We check the desktop property from the environment. Now, when this desktop is false, we're in web mode. We're a web application. So we want to use the pirate service with HTTP. If the desktop is false, we are in Electron mode, in desktop mode, and we want to use the pirate local service with the Electron dependency. So I told you before that for some reason I used the toPromise operator, RxJS operator, to get the pirates from the HTTP. Now, why did I do this? The IPC main and the IPC renderer objects of Electron are promise-based. So I knew beforehand that I will need to use promises inside my application. And I would like to do that because I didn't want to touch anything inside the component. If you saw the component, it is the same component, even if it runs in the Electron, even if it runs in the web mode or in the desktop mode. So this pirate local service, all these methods, the invoke and the send sync, return promise-based methods, promise-based results. So if I run the Electron again, the desktop mode,
can I ask a quick question? So you decided to align the API surface of the two services to be the same. And being that you mentioned that toPromise is being deprecated, looking back, would it be a better decision to leave HTTP client to return an observable, but wrap the call to the Electron service to use of or from to create an observable based off of the promise, so that this way they both return observables instead of promises?
Yeah, it would be the same thing. Absolutely, it will not be different. But I decided to go promise-based because I like also the async await syntax. It makes my code cleaner, more readable. I don't have callbacks. For example, in the observables, you have the subscribe and then you have the arrow function. So I think async await is more readable for me in my case.
Cool.
So if I run the Electron, the application.
Sorry, I have a question for you real quick. I can't remember if on our first episode, if you talked about this or not, but the decision to need to swap this behavior out for loading the data if we're on desktop versus web, was there a reason to do that and go down this road? Versus say just having even the desktop app call the HTTP service to get the data?
Yeah, because in the company that I work for, we have created a desktop Electron application that works only with data from the local file system. So imagine that you can create an application with a offline synchronization scenario. For example, you start your application and you get your data from your REST backend. Now, when you go offline, you may want to use data from your local file system. So you get data the first time, you save it to the file system, and then you're working from your file system. So when you want to synchronize with the server, you post the data from your file system to the server. This scenario works really well in cases where you have low connectivity and network problems, or low bandwidth and stuff like that. That you don't want to be online all continuously.
Gotcha. Yeah, so the example you're going through is to show how we can handle that scenario where we want to swap out the behavior based on if we're on desktop or mobile or web, right? But it's not like that we have to do it this way if we're building an Electron Angular app. It's just for this use case, this is showing how to pull that aspect off, right? But we could certainly just have our Angular app making HTTP calls and run it in an Electron type environment and still be fine as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but in this case, I would suggest you to create a progressive web app, because I think we have answered this question in the first event. If you want to just get some data from a REST API and have a desktop application, go for a progressive web app. It will be more easier, and it will be the bundle will be smaller, because Electron applications are huge. For example, to create this application, we need 120 megabytes, and our Angular application is only 178 kilobytes, something like that. So go with the progressive web app. But if you want to do more sophisticated things, for example, in our company, we make image processing. So when we get some images, we save them in the file system and we make some processing. Now, this is something this is something custom. So creating an Electron application is better in this case.
Yeah, totally
So
makes sense.
I would like to show you the difference between getting the data from the REST API and getting them from the file system. If I run my application for the web, okay, like an ordinary Angular application, so let's wait to serve. The interaction between the main and the rendering process is already covered in the first video, if you want to watch it. So that's why I covered it more quickly than the other code. Okay, if we go to the application and we open the network tools, if I refresh my application, you will see that it makes an HTTP request in the pirates.json file that is inside the assets folder, which contains all the pirates. Now, in the case of Electron, the things are different. So if I start Electron, first it tries to build the Electron side. This is the cell.js, if you saw that, and then continues with building the Angular application, outputting or both applications in the same folder. Let's see if it is ready. Yeah. Okay. Now, I have already said in my previous video that this is a desktop application, but it has an HTML file inside it. It is Chromium based, so we can go to toggle the developer tools and see the network or inspect an element. Now, if we see the network here and I make a refresh, a reload, you will see that the part names are already there, but we don't do any HTTP call. So this is this is what actually happens when we use the file system to get our data. Now we have already seen how to run our application in development mode. Let's go to see it in production mode and then to package it finally as a desktop application. So if we go to the package.json again, sorry, here it is, .json, you will see that we have the build script and the build Electron. Now the build Electron again makes two builds of our application. The first one is the ng build with the same configuration, the Electron configuration, and it has also some additional options for production. And then we use the Webpack with another configuration file, which is the electron.pro.config, which is for building our Electron application, Electron site for production. If we go to the configuration file, you will see that it inherits from the base config again, but now the mode is production. Again, we output the file in the same folder as the Angular application, and we pass the file name main.js. Why? Because when our Angular application is built for production, the file name has a hash, so it will not be main.js. So there will be no conflict. And then we use a plugin, a Webpack plugin, to copy the package.json file from the source Electron folder into the dist folder. Why? Because our package.json has some dependencies. Let's see that dependency. If we go to the package.json inside the Electron folder, you will see that I have a dependency of the Electron log library. This library is for logging purposes. So when we build, we need to copy the package.json and where is it? Here it is. And also we use a very strange property called externals, which is set to node externals. Now, we use this one because we don't want to let Webpack fetch the dependency of the Electron log and include it in our main bundle. Instead, we want to run npm install inside our build folder and create the node modules of the Electron code for us. You will see in a moment how it looks like. So if we run build Electron, the real benefit of this approach that I'm showing to you is that you can build your application for whatever mode you want. Do you want to have your application in Angular? You build it with ngBuild. Do you want it to have it also for desktop? You use the build Electron to build it for desktop. So it's whatever combination you want to do. The good thing is that in this case we benefit from the dependency injection mechanism of Angular and replace whatever service we want to use according to the environment. So if we go to the dist folder now, you can see that it has the Angular assets, the Angular bundles, and it has the main.js, which is the Electron bundle. Okay, now let's see, we have built our application. Now let's go and package it as a single executable file. If we go to the package.json, we have another script which is called package. Now this package uses the Electron packager application, tool that goes to the output directory and fetches all the bundles and puts it and outputs and packages them all together inside an executable file. So we pass the dist folder. We tell it where we want to output the executable file, and we also pass this asar property. This property tells to the Electron packager to zip, to create some sort of zip file of our application. You can also see there is a pre-package script. Now, pre-package is called before package, and what it does, it changes inside the dist directory and runs npm install. Now, this npm install refers to the package.json of Electron, this one, that has this single dependency. So expect that your final bundle will have a node modules folder for Electron-based dependencies, not for Angular. So let's run package.
And is this going to build the executable for multiple operating systems, or how does that work?
Yes, if you can tell it to build for all operating systems, all the big Mac, Windows, and Linux. But you can also select a specific one. For example, now in my case, I selected the Windows. Sorry, Mike. So if we go to the dist folder now, ta-da! We have another folder called with the same folder as the output, with the same name as the output folder, and our operating system, which is in our case Win32x64. If we open this folder, now here, this is our desktop, our Angular application built as a desktop one. You can see that there is this executable file, which is, oh my God, 120 megabytes. Where is it? 120 megabytes. Now, in this 120 megabytes, there is no any of our application code. Our application code is contained inside the resources folder, inside the app.asr file. And another, oh my God, it is 255 kilobytes. In this file, there is also the node modules folder for our Electron dependencies. This is a major drawback for Electron applications.
Yeah, and is that something that you mentioned zipping it, is that something you could unzip and actually somebody could look at the file contents of that?
Yes. Of course, if you go to the Visual Studio Code, there is such an ASR file, and you can unzip it. But it is open source, so everyone can read it.
I think that's one thing to consider, when people think about, okay, I'm going to use Electron to build my Angular app or whatever web app into an installable application. You're getting the power to interact with the operating system, but you're not necessarily getting some of that other part that people may think about when I build an installable executable, like all my code is, piled away inside of there safely that nobody could read, right? But in this case, we're really running a web app in Electron. So it's not only this file that we're talking about here that people could explore and see your code, but I mean, ultimately, when you run the Electron app, you can launch the dev tools and look at the source code and see the JavaScript there. So just from a perception standpoint, people kind of coming into making the decision of going to Electron to know that the decision for obfuscating or hiding your code is not necessarily something that it provides as the benefit, right? That's not one of the goals.
Yeah, actually, you can't obfuscate an Electron application without using an external tool. It is very difficult, as far as I know. But we should also not forget that an Electron application is a web application, and a web application has many security problems and considerations. Everything that is valid, every security problem that exists out there in the web, the same exists in an Electron application. I would like to show you a tool that there is, which is called, where is it? Electron negativity. Here it is. Electron negativity. Now, if I run this tool, it can analyze your code and it will show you any potential security problems that your application has. For example, if I run it, let me run it from the npm scripts. If we go to analyze, in this tool, you pass the folder of your Electron code as a parameter. Also, another good thing with this project is that I have uploaded in my GitHub profile. So if you want to just put your Angular application somewhere and create a desktop one, you can clone it or you can fork it, download it, and replace and put all your Angular files inside the app folder. And you're just good to go. You will have a desktop application in no time. Okay, this is the last thing that I would like to show, but I don't know if, because it says this may take a while, I don't know how long it will take. Okay. Yeah, here is a report that we take from this tool about what security problems our application has, and if, for example, here it is. Here it is one that, this one tells you that you need to review it. It is critical. So you can use this tool to make a penetration test to your Electron application. So that's all that I would like to show to you. Thanks very much for your time. The demo application that I showed you is on my GitHub profile, so you can get it. If you have any questions, let me know, and I would be happy to answer them. I hope I answered many questions from the previous video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was absolutely great.
I'm on time.
That was great. Yeah, right on the dot too. We got just enough time for a quick wrap up and some picks. But then I know we usually do this in the picks, but Bonnie, is there a session after this for more discussion?
Oh yeah, I just put a link in the chat. It's right after this. Saunder's going to be there too. And I don't know who else, but we'll nerd out with, Aris is going to be there. He said he has time to join us. And we'll talk some more about Electron if y'all want.
Chat, but you're not a mod, so you can't put a link in the chat so nobody else sees it, because I don't see it. Dang. Okay.
Probably.
Cool. All right. Cool.
Yes, that's probably what happened.
You can send it to me and I can post it in there. I think the primary one allows it to do it. So do that. All right, well, let's do some picks. Let's go. Do our panelists have any picks today? Nobody has any picks? All right. Oh, Mike has a pick. Okay, Mike.
Yeah. I have a sad pick.
Uh-oh. Sad pick?
Today is our last episode of the show for the year. So we will not be back until next year, where two horrible guests will be joining us.
I'm so excited about our first episode of AngularAir for 2021. These two right here.
Right. I actually, I got a 2021 planner on my iPad, and I was like setting up all my 2021 stuff, and it was kind of crazy. Like, it's actually here. I don't know what's going to happen in 2021, but you know,
Justin and I are going to be
couldn't hurt to turn a corner
on January. What is that? The 8th?
Yeah.
Okay. What are y'all teaching us? Well, I have found that it's a lot harder to be in the hot seat than it is to be a panelist. Like, all we have to do is like heckle people and give them a hard time. But when you're actually when I was presenting, I found it very hard. Because I just got so flustered. I'm so used to just, silly
no more episodes this year.
But you guys will be amazing.
Well, I think the last show of the year is a celebration of a capture of a wonderful, another year of AngularAir. We had a great guest today presenting us awesome content as usual. But my pick, wait, did any other panelists have any other picks? All right. So my pick is really our panelists for all the effort the three of you have done all throughout the year and previous years of the support for our show, everything that you bring to it, everything you help with. It's always amazing, and totally looking forward to another year and more awesome episodes and more great support from the three of you. So that's my pick.
We couldn't do it without
You're amazing.
You already said you didn't have a pick, so you don't get to just retroly pick me.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, you do set a very loving tone.
You can do whatever you like to do.
And
I was just
shout out to
deflecting
the
your
chat that
comment.
was very
your compliment.
active today. Happy holidays, everybody. Thanks for talking in the chat and making it such a fun show. And everyone really seemed to love your presentation. So thank you for coming on for part 2 because 100% awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Aris.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Do you have a pick or any picks, Aristeidis?
Just no, I don't have anything specific. Just wanted to say to Merry Christmas to all. Stay safe because this is what matters right now. And let's be again next year here with more AngularAir.
For sure. For sure. Cheers to that. Hey, let's do a co-pick real quick. I bet I've got one that both of us can do. How about Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Can we pick that? Have you played that yet? I'm assuming you have.
No, I'm waiting for the Christmas vacations to play it because it would be better to play it when you don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
That is totally understandable. I can get behind that for sure. Awesome. All right. Well, now you got something to look forward to and plan for. Awesome. Hey, as usual, thanks so much for coming on the show, for sharing your time, for sharing your content. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you came back for a second round for this content. So that was awesome. And then we totally look forward to, future content if you'd like to come back on again. And good luck with your existing book that you have out available right now. And please let us know when your new one is and more information about that. And we can get the word out on that as well.
Put some links.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
Thanks very much for all.
Awesome. All right. That's a wrap for this year. We'll see everybody next year. Have a good one. Take care.
Bye.
Later.